I am Chris Colombo. Welcome to Taking Action. This is our 12th episode and week 9 in the NFL. We're going to recap week 8. It was very good for my one pick. And my second pick came in pushed, which I anticipated a win or a push. Going to have a great story for you. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I do read the comments. There will be a segment after our evaluation and picks that I will discuss. Thank you and be right back. Okay, welcome back to Taking Action. I'm Chris Colombo. With me, as always, is Anthony Conover, who I hail as the best stats man in the business, but it doesn't equate to winners.
No, not always. What?
How's your computer algorithms against this relic?
Yeah, those damn Texans. Just
What I warned you about them.
I know. I liked them. Didn't work out for me.
There are teams inherently that let you down against the spread, with the spread. When you need them to lose by X amount, they don't. When you need them to win by X amount, they don't. When you bet against them, they hurt you. That's one of the teams I've told you
Stay away from.
to stay away from. I do like them this week, but I'm staying away from them. All indications are they're the right team to bet, the Texans, but there's certain things I stay away from.
Never again.
I never say never.
Oh, no. They're on my list now.
Well, I don't want to get on your list.
Laminated list.
A laminated list. It's even better.
Special
It's
list.
worse than a regular list. A laminated list.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hardcore.
Thank God I'm here to guide you.
Well, let's guide people in week 9 of the NFL. We kick it off Thursday Night Football.
Why don't we go over week 8 first?
Oh, yeah. Let's go over week 8. Why
Why don't we skip over week 8? I mean, I know you do want to skip over week 8. Okay. There's more to the game than statistics.
Absolutely.
Okay. Week 8 in the NFL was my critique of the games were right on target. We posted some shorts.
Yeah.
I anticipated, but we were close to an upset with the Eagle game with the Commanders.
If Sam Howell doesn't throw that pick 6, which really turned momentum in the fourth quarter, they were right on target.
So my evaluations are correct. My main pick did stand up, and we never had to worry about it. What I'd like to talk about was the Jet game. I anticipated that was a safe play because the way I evaluated, at worst, we would push, which I told you would happen. Another set of, well, not a set. There was 2 calls going that got the Giants in the end zone. There was a roughing the passer, helmet to helmet, on either 3rd or 4th and goal, which gave them a new set of downs, and they probably would have kicked the field goal if it was 3rd. And then it was 3rd and goal, the 4th and goal again. There was a helmet to helmet that did not exist. I watched it. I don't know why they didn't review it. We would have won that game instead of pushed it. But most importantly, the Jets still won the game. But most importantly, that it's unfair in the age of technology that's not a reviewable call. And those are the calls. The 2 biggest yard gainers are pass interference and roughing the passer or defenseless receiver or helmet to helmet. And the fact that it's not a reviewable play is, I think, is ridiculous.
I mean, especially pass interference, because
it could be 40 yards.
I was going to say it could be a 50-yard penalty. However long the quarterback can throw it, that's how far the flag can be. So that's
a brilliant analysis.
I try.
So in other words, it can't be an interference for less than he could throw.
No, because then again with the refs this year, I don't know.
We saw one out of bounds.
Yeah, I was going to say you would think it would be uncatchable.
Later on, I'm going to go over your comments, and I have a nice story for you. One of my favorites with horse betting. All right, let's move into before we move into week 9, week 8. I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers Jaguar game. I evaluated the Jaguars to win, and I got to tell you, the refs came to help the Jaguars. The Steelers are all over the place, touting on social media that they were robbed. They were
not happy.
They were not happy, and they're risking fines and possible suspension.
I don't know if they'll get suspended, but Deontay Johnson, I believe, after the game came out, and he said they must have gotten paid well. We didn't get a single call the entire game. So the NFL is not going to like that one.
But players can't talk about betting or anybody else betting, but everybody else could talk about the betting. I mean, that's really unique to me.
The players are allowed to bet now, obviously not on the NFL, and also not in the locker room. You get suspended if you bet in the locker room on a different sport, which doesn't make sense to me, by the way.
Listen, I don't spend time in the locker room, only when I played or when I coached. But the point of the matter is this. They're not even allowed to talk about their opinions on the NFL.
Oh, no. If you talk bad about the refs, you get fined. I mean, they're going to get fined.
But not just the refs. You're not to talk about betting on the NFL.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. So.
Which makes no sense to me if betting is legal. That's like saying with a team, let's go out and have a drink, and everybody's above 21.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL can make all the money from it, but players are shunned from it, I will say.
I don't know what the refs do. That game I wanted to mention. The Jaguar game I wanted to mention. Everything else went as I anticipated. I don't exactly know. We're still figuring out what my one pick is going to be this week. We're going to go through it. I'll tell you. I'll wait. This is the first week. I'm going to lean towards a couple of totals.
All righty.
Anthony, let's go.
Thursday night football, we kick off. The Titans at the Steelers started off as a 3.5-point spread, down to 3 for the Steelers. Over under started at 37.5, went to 36.5. Titans, they tried the whole 2-quarterback thing last week. Ended up winning the game, but Will Levis came in and lit it up. 4 touchdowns. I believe he had over 300 yards. So he's starting again.
Confuses the defense.
Yeah, he's starting again this week. Kenny Pickett got hurt in the game in week 8. I believe it was a rib, but they're saying that he should be good to play in this game. So they'll have him, starting. But
that's a toss-up. I don't know how to evaluate 2 different quarterbacks. And I don't know if Pickett starts or he doesn't start. So my way of looking at it is completely difficult. I think it's going to be a very good game. The Steelers always bring a voracious and aggressive defense, and they've always managed to surprise you. I'm watching that one.
Sunday, we kick it off in Germany, Frankfurt to be exact. The Dolphins.
They just had a Frankfurter.
They did.
Pete's
hot dogs. A little chili cheese dog. Oh, unbelievable.
I had mustard and onions with habanero sauce.
That hot sauce was hot. You were right.
Yeah.
Dolphins at the Chiefs. Like I said, in Germany, 2.5-point spread. Opened there, stayed there, and the over/under stayed at 50.5.
Inherently, I'm going to agree with statistics because it's very difficult to handicap a game in Germany. Chiefs 2.5. You should say that's unbelievable. I'm leaning towards not my pick, but I would put a couple of hours to watch the game on the under in that game.
I would too. Chiefs defense has been very good this year. We always talk about the offense, but the Chiefs defense has been unbelievable.
I don't know what they're going to do in Germany.
Yeah,
that's a few time zones away.
That and international games usually don't end up being a high scoring game in general. So I would like the under on that one as well.
I'm screwed. Go ahead.
Vikings at the Falcons. Falcons started off as a 1-point favorite, got up to 4.5 now, obviously with the injury to Kirk Cousins.
Who's their backup quarterback?
Well, they just traded for Joshua Dobbs from the Cardinals. And
is he ready to play this week?
Listen, veteran quarterback. He could probably learn a playbook quickly. I mean, 5 days to do it.
Pretty complex playbook.
It'll be up in the air. I know they have a rookie quarterback that's backing them up.
I like Dobbs with the Cardinals. You argued with me. He performed brilliantly in a lot of games. It should be interesting to see how Dobbs does. The Falcons are starting to formulate into their own. We'll be looking at them later on. Do you have any thoughts?
I would stay away from this. I mean, and also the Falcons in their game last week replaced their quarterback halfway through. Apparently with a concussion, so Taylor Heineke stepped in. He played well. So
sometimes the quarterback is important.
Oh, well, I would say so. So I don't know who's playing quarterback for either team, if I'm being honest. So I wouldn't touch this game with the poll.
You should be honest. That's what they're here to hear, honesty. Go ahead, next.
Seahawks at the Ravens. Ravens started off as 4.5-point favorites, up to 5.5, and the over/under stayed at 43.
I think it'd be a good game to watch. I don't think it's an earth-shaking game. Let's go.
Cardinals at the Browns. Browns started off as 8.5-point favorites, down to 8. Over/under started at 39, down to 37.5.
I picked Cardinals early on against the spread when it was a big underdog, especially at home and division games. That's a high one. But they traded Dobbs, which was doing a decent job for them. I think he's going to do a very good job for the Vikings when he gets in the rhythm. I think he's an underrated quarterback. Their first stringer is coming back. Is that correct?
He won't be back this week, Kyler Murray. But he should be back next week. So I believe the Cardinals will also have a rookie. I believe. I'm not positive though.
I don't know who the quarterback is. Only they know who the quarterback is. I don't think anybody knows who the quarterback is. Browns is another team I picked as underdog early on to beat the spread. They're 8.5 that went to what? 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points. There's an expression, I wouldn't book it. I wouldn't bet it. Go ahead.
All righty. Rams at the Packers. Rams opened up as a 1-point favorite. Now the Packers are 3-point favorites. That's because
Matthew Stafford is questionable. My calculations and everything were on the Rams this week, but Matthew Stafford is questionable. Another problem I have with the NFL this year that's very unique, the gambling is full-blown and preeminent, advertised everywhere, is the injury report. What did they say? It's day to day. What does that mean? The nighttime doesn't count?
Hey, one day he gets better, the next he feels worse. I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never seen such vague injury reports, and the injury report, even before there was legalized gambling, was for the purpose of gaming and gambling, because it's the only sport in America that has an injury report.
Yeah, basically. That over/under was at 43.5, went to 39.
I like in that game, if Matthew Stafford goes, all indications of my pick would have been the Rams.
Yeah.
If Matthew Stafford does not go, it does not revert back because their backup quarterback, I don't know what he could do. He might do just as well as job. I don't know.
I think it's Brett Ripien.
Whatever it is, he's unknown.
Yeah, I mean, stepped in a few times, nothing special. Buccaneers at those damn Texans. -2.5 for the Texans. Over/under stood at 40.
If it wasn't the Texans, I would like the Texans. They have been an albatross to me for a very long time.
Unbelievable. Commanders at the Patriots. Patriots start off as 2-point favorites. They're now 3-point favorites. Over/under went from 39 to 40. Some breaking news on this regarding the Commanders. So far today. Today is the NFL trade deadline. We're recording this on Tuesday. As everybody knows, we usually do. Montez Sweat, one of their pass rushers, has been traded to, I want to say,
pretty good pass rusher.
Yeah, he got traded to the Bears, and Chase Young, former, I believe, 3rd overall pick, just got traded to the 49ers. So their 2 best pass rushers out.
Well, not out, traded.
Well, they're out on the team.
Not playing in that game. Okay, inherently what that does is you don't know if there was controversy between the players and the management, players and the coaches, combination of 3. You don't know if the players are going to miss their things. That could cause the kind of stuff in a game you stay away from. It might work out. We don't know yet. But we don't know what the underlying causes is. Usually the Commanders have been fairly successful. To trade their 2 best pass rushers is drastic, in my opinion.
Especially with the NFC. I mean, you could go 7-9 this year potentially and make the playoffs with the wild cards. How they're set up now.
Yeah. It's a longer season and there's more opportunity, but that's not even the point. The point is, what is the reason they traded? Did they get good picks for them?
No, I think they got like a. I don't think they got anything.
And I think their defense was performing admirably and getting better each week.
Chase Young was he missed a lot of last year with an injury that he had suffered. Came back this year. He was looking pretty good.
But you got to remember about the offense and defensive line. Sometimes the stats don't go to the player, but it allows the other player to get in. Yeah. Sometimes they double team him the way he comes, what he does. So it's like when Lawrence Taylor played, they double teamed him, which allowed Marshall to come in more than he normally would have. What's the name of the guy at Dallas that they're hailing as the new
Michael Parsons.
Parsons. He may not have the stats, and he does have great stats, but he could have because they double and triple team him, which allows other people to come in, and he creates seams and a gap to get to the quarterback.
Absolutely.
He does wreak havoc on an offensive line.
The Bears at the Saints. Saints start off as 5.5-point favorites. They're 7.5-point favorites now. Over under stuck at 41.
I like to watch that game. Not really.
No, I wouldn't watch that.
I don't watch it. I don't even want to talk about that game.
No, it's not worth it. Colts at the Panthers. Colts are 2.5-point favorites. Opened and stayed there. Over under 42.5 to 44.
This is going to be interesting because these are the two teams that got the most help from the refs.
I mean,
so would you agree?
Colts got, obviously a lot of help a couple weeks ago against the Browns.
Lot of help, which boosted their momentum.
Panthers finally got their first win of the season last week.
Yes, I tell you, it'd be interesting to watch to see how the refs play in that game.
See if they can get the Colts if they can screw over the Colts again.
Either way, they'd be giving it back and taking it away. So I think that is a ref game.
Could be.
I'm not saying it for that reason, but they got a lot of help inherently across the. Go ahead.
The Giants at the Raiders. Raiders opened up as 2.5-point favorites. They're now 3-point favorites. Over under went from 39.5 to 37.5.
I agree with the under on that game, even though it dropped 2 points.
I liked the under in this game. Giants are 7-1, betting on them with the under. The Raiders,
you got to remember on totals, statistics are the main thing.
I mean, Giants have the lowest scoring offense in the league. Raiders have the 4th lowest scoring offense in the league.
I don't mean it for that reason. Also, but at any time, bad teams could just have a shootout. The defense could stay home.
That is true.
But my pick is for the week that, and if the Rams, Matthew Stafford goes, I like the Rams. So just to be clear, let's say, and I'm not saying bet a lot of money because we're warming up on my procedure, my protocol for totals, which is unders and overs, which means we are betting to go over or under. And the fact that there's a half point we call the hook, there will be no push.
Nope. All right. We go to the
next. So repeat that. What is the game that I like?
If Matt Stafford plays, we got the Rams +3. And then the Giants Raiders were taking the under 37.5.
And we lean towards the under in the Kansas City game.
That was
just because nobody scores a lot of points
in international games.
Internationally in Germany, and it's a Hofbrauhaus thing, I think. I was in Germany. They have wonderful beer.
Cheaper than water, they say.
Yeah.
Cowboys at the Eagles. The Eagles are 3-point favorites. It's stuck there. 46.5 was the over-under, down to 46.
I mean, that's going to be, I think you're going to see that there are two dominant teams in the NFL. I think that the Eagles are very consistent. How's their offensive line doing?
The Eagles?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Probably best in football.
How they doing with that tush push? Good, right?
Yeah. Believe it or not, the Commanders did force a turnover on it this week.
Push. I saw that.
I think they're
down.
I asked you. Now I think they're down to about 90% success rate instead of 95.
Ah, that's terrible.
I know.
I'm going to watch that game. I lean towards the Eagles, not for you to bet. These are two teams that could light it up at any time. The team that comes to play and wants it the most will win this game.
Absolutely. Sunday night football, a great game. The Bills at the Bengals. Bills opened up as 1.5-point favorites. The Bengals are now 3-point favorites, though.
It's 4.5-point move.
The over-under 46.5 to 48.5.
Well, that total is right where it should be.
Two high-powered offenses. Bengals are really getting into their rhythm again. So,
Josh Allen has and always has been, when he's on, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Man.
Yeah.
When he's off, they feel it. He either wins big or he loses big. Bengals are back in the rhythm. Burrows is a force to be reckoned with. The Bengal team is playing together as a unit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game to watch. I'll be rooting for the Bengals, not betting them.
Monday night, the Chargers at the Jets. Chargers started off as 1.5-point favorites. Now 3-point favorites. Total on that game 43 down to 41.5.
Well, that's because of the Jets' defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jets are home team underdog. How many points?
3.
3. That should go up. I would wait till later on. You could get 3.5, 4. I like the Jets at home. I like them getting the points. And that was Rams was my first pick. Jets was my second pick. If the Rams doesn't go, I like the Jets, but not for a lot of money. Most of the times you pick my pick, you could go heavy. It does stand up when I do 1 or 2 the most, but 2 is always the supplemental. Last week was the Vikings. We never looked back.
No.
And I think my main pick every week has stood up, but 1 week it pushed. Am I correct?
We've been pretty good on the main picks.
So on my main picks, I am. This is week what?
This is week 9.
Week 9. Week 9. So I was my main picks and my supplemental. I think with my main pick, I'm flawless except for 2 pushes.
We've been good on the main picks. Just,
I didn't always explain my main pick. I told it to Anthony earlier, and it's not a matter of trust because I didn't want to see anybody bet the ranch on my main pick, and we let you down. And I told you the first 3 weeks are difficult to handicap. The 4th week, because they extended the season, we can now say the first 4 weeks are difficult. And then 5 dictates what the rhythm they're getting and who needs games more, who's got a risk of getting knocked out in their division, who has a risk of not going to the playoffs. And there's always the risk of who's going to get fired as a coach and stuff like that.
I mean, I know some people liked it last week. So, just some more information here on the public betting, where 60% of the bets were on that team in week 8. We had the Lions -7.5. We had the Chiefs -7.
Did they win or lose?
Oh, well, I had the record over here.
We said we weren't going to mention that because it wasn't significant. But go ahead.
No, we said that about the other one that we were doing.
Which one?
That was the against the totals and against the spread overall for the season.
Well, I meant both. Go ahead.
So we had 82% of the money, or 82% of the bets on the Lions -7.5. The Lions. Why can't I find the game now?
It would help.
Why can't I find the game?
Anytime now.
Oh, there we go. They won that one.
No kidding.
The Chiefs -7. They did not cover. 79% of the money was on them. 71% of the money on the Ravens -9.5. They did not cover on that one. Vikings -1. 70% of the bets were on them. They covered. 69% of the money was on the Eagles. They pushed. Bengals 67%. That was +5.5. They went outright. 67% on the Bears +8.5. They lost that one. 64% on the Seahawks -3.5. They won that one. And then the Jets, 64% of the money -3. That was a push. So in total,
pretty much it was
4-3-2 this week for the public. A winning week by 1 and a couple pushes.
If you lay the juice in there, which is 110 to 100, the house still had the advantage. Then you got to consider the mixture with teasers and parlays.
Plus all the other games.
And you don't know what they did at halftime bets.
That is true. So public a little bit better, but I mean,
on straight bets.
Anything was going to be better than what it was last week because the public.
Later on, we're going to evaluate what halftime bets and how it affected your straight bets. There's many dimensions to betting football, and we're going to get to all of them, and I'm going to help you with it. I consider myself, and most people in the industry, an expert on it.
Well, that is week 9 of the NFL. Those are all the games.
I'll be back to you with an interesting story. And what else are we going to do? Comments.
Comments.
I read the comments. And one of the stories I'm going to tell came from one of the comments that you told me. Once again, Anthony Conover, the best stat man in the business. Me, I'm just here to figure out what he does wrong.
We try.
Do something wrong?
See, get it right.
Remember, it's money.
Absolutely.
I am Chris Colombo. Welcome back to Taking Action. We're broadcasting from my father's home here in Blooming Grove. Two things. I read the comments. So to be up to date, there's going to be a time I'm going to answer you in writing also. So please hit subscribe so I could do that. It's free. So I know you will know ahead of time. Because the NFL has been so interesting, we've been kind of canning our interviews. And when I mean canning, is not pushing them away. We have a backlog on them. There's some serious people, some funny people, some professionals. It's really a great mixture, and it's coming together. All are interesting. But our main focus is the NFL right now. On the comments, I'd like to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. There's no better way I'd rather spend it than with you. And for my birthday, I gave you some win. My pick stood up for you, and I announced it clearly and concisely. Okay. Secondly, couple will go over one bad comment that I was crying about the games that the refs that I picked. That's not true. I picked the Eagles. And that out of bounds pass that was 10 yards, that was a call with the Eagles also. Am I correct? Okay. Just to straighten that out, I will answer bad comments also. I'm not sweeping them under if they're worthy of. And everybody's opinion is worthy, and that's what I'm here to do. Okay. I'd like to tell you a story, and it came from the comments. I was asked who I picked in the Breeders' Cup. Every year I would handicap one race, the Breeders' Cup, and I was fairly good at it. And I like the Breeders' Cup. I like the field. I like the track. I liked everything that went on about the Breeders' Cup. And it kind of tickled my fancy to handicap. This was a horse ranch and farm for years where I am now. And I was involved in the professional horse racing to some degree. So I'm driving across the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, and I'm thinking, and I'm going over in my head who I am going to pick in the Breeders' Cup. And I usually like to bet the exacta and the triple. So I couldn't come up with anything. And I couldn't come up with a formula for anything. And I was kind of racking my brain, not, significantly. It was fun. And I'd stop at the bridge to pay a toll. And when I stopped to pay the toll to go over the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, there's a dollar bill sitting folded up on my shoulder. I don't know where it came from. It wasn't over the visor. So I open it up because I like to play liar's poker with friends of mine. And then you use the numbers on the thing like poker. And then you lie. And if you get called on it, you get the dollar. So anyway, I open it up, and it was folded like that. And the last four digits was 3914. I said to myself, I was thinking very much, let me try and bet that in the Breeders' Cup. So I parlayed the triple 3914. I parlayed the exacta 3914. Horseman by the name of Val Pony, it might have been the 3, it might have been the 9, comes in and it wins either 394 or 3914. It might have been just the same way, or a different numerical, but it doesn't matter because I tripled it and exacted that way, and significant money. I think I had $46 or $5,600 on that particular race. I thought it was a sign, and I was right. Here's the ironic twist. At the time, I had a gentleman managing my office, and he also took horse bets. I did not. So even my customers are his, and he ran the office. He would take the horse bets from him. It was a separate business for him. I didn't mind him doing it. So I called him up and asked me, could he get it down a nice size bet on the triple and the exacta? And I suggested he bet it. He said he was going to follow suit what I did. Now, I don't know if he booked it himself or he put it in the islands in Costa Rica, because that's where his situation was. And long story short, it comes in, I'm celebrating, and I calculated it to be about a $200,000 win. I said, this is because Val Pony wins and he pays $100, I believe. So, I'm kind of doing that little shuffle you do when you win. Happy about it, just happy to have a big win. Happy the dollar bill fell on my shoulder. The ironic twist is, in my business, when one of your subordinates or your employees or your constituents or whatever you want to call them says, hey, pal, I got to talk to you, it's bad news. Versus, especially when they have that serene, subdued, loving voice that they need fatherly or assistance or advice. I says, I had the table at Rayo's at the time. I said, I'll meet you at Rayo's. We'll have dinner. We're at Rayo's. He says, I says, what happened? He says, you won the race. You got $200,000 coming. He says, and because usually people bring the money when you win the money. He says, well, I won $200,000 too. I says, even better. I says, you should get the money when you win the money. He says, the bad news is I won 200, you won 200. And then I tried to parlay it into sports being up that much. I never had that kind of power. I thought it'd be that kind of way. And I could have really did something great with it. I said, you really did. I says, you became a chemist. You turned money into feces. He laughed. I laughed. I said, yeah, but you had a great week with the sports. He was on a half sheet. That means if his guys won, half was his, half was mine. I mean, lost. We win. So you had a great week. I mean, you won 50, I won 50. So I should have had a $250,000 week. He said, but I got worse news. One of my players died that lost the big money, and I owe out 50. You have to give it to me. I don't have it. So I thought I had a $250,000 week, and it ended up costing me $50,000. I took him for his word, but it is possible he booked it because he does book horses, and he got hurt. But the point being that the dollar bill was lucky for me, but I'd rather lose the race than that happen. I never collected the money. I think he's doing well. He got married. He has children. I wish him the best. And life goes on. This is Chris Colombo signing off. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We will see you with our shorts. We will see you with Anthony Conover next week. I don't know if we're going to post an interview. Also, part 1 of the Francisi video, an interview with me, will be posted, I think, at the end of the week or something like that. And you can also look for me. I did an interview, Crime and Entertainment with Wade Williams. That should be, he irritated me a little bit, but he's one of my Southern friends. I spent 10 years in Clemson, South Carolina, going back and forth. So this is Chris Colombo signing off and taking action. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Keep the comments coming. And thank you for wishing me a happy birthday.